Hello, my name is Holly from My Daily HAED. I'm here for a quick check-in. First of all, I'll be talking about Christmas scene, Santa and Animals, created by Charting Creations and artwork by Dakota Detweiler. All the details for the fabric and the way, and everything's being done on 1/1 cross stitch. This is the fabric and everything. This is as far as I've got. It's now 11.58%. So I'm almost down to another column. However, this one is now going to be put in, hibernation for a little bit, and I'll explain why in a minute. Secondly, for Storykeep Tiki Beach, it's Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's artwork by Amy Stewart, and it's now 51.70%. I haven't worked on either one of these today yet. All right, the problem is that, and I need you to tell me what you want me to do. The blanket I'm making for someone who's that's due at their house by March 4th, which means sending it off by March 2nd at the latest, is that I ordered more yarn for the blanket, and I was originally doing these squares, but unfortunately you can't really you can see it here. I bought this years ago. I started thinking it was, it's a Stylecraft Special DK acrylic, and I thought it would be the same, because some companies have very good tight control over their colors. It's different, and the way the pattern I was going to do. So now, and then I said, oh, okay, well, I'll just rejig it and just make the squares a little bit smaller so I could use the yarn I've got. But that doesn't work either. So now I'm going to have to scrap everything I've made, and I will be doing it a granny stripe blanket and pinks and purples, and using the old and the new yarn so that it's not so obvious. Which I'm devastated, but that's just the way it's going to be. But it means that Santa and Animals is completely out of the picture. I just don't have the time to do that. Considering this is going to be quite a good size blanket, I'm going to have to pretty much abandon Santa and Animals and even Tiki Beach. I'm going to try to plod along at least 100 stitches on it, but I didn't do it yesterday, and I won't have the time to do it today. So my question is to you, my wonderful online friends, is, do you want me to just wait until I've got significant progress on this, or do you want me to check in off and on in the next, less often, but with more progress? I do have a couple of other projects. I'm very stressed, crafty wise, which isn't a bad stress, is it? I've got a baby shower where I've got 2 different blankets due, or 3 different blankets due for that. And that's my own fault. Yeah, my husband bought some yarn he wants me to make for, and so that I've started a knitted blanket for them in the yarn that he bought. And the parents chose this yarn and this pattern, which is the Bernat Baby Blanket 410, and then the father has I was just saying, my husband, my son and his wife are having a baby this summer in late June, early July. So that's wonderful, absolutely amazing. But between my husband asking me to make that, the white blanket, and my son and his wife asking me to make that light blue, the duck egg blue, and then my son saying he would really like a granny square blanket because that's for the baby. So I'm now going to do a carrier size blanket in the granny stripe, and the granny square, and that will be the one size that they requested. And then of course this is going to be just like a little floor mat kind of thing because it's super thick. So between that and the pink and purple blanket, and I've got another blanket due at the end of March, not March, end of May. My cross stitching, unfortunately, is gonna take a hit. I'll still be cross stitching on Tiki at least, but do you mind me putting a yarny update on here? Or, and I could just put yarn, it will still incorporate some of Tiki, but it won't be a full-blown cross stitch. So I don't know if you want to see it, or if you just want me to leave you alone for a while until I come back, or I could always post it as like a yarny update and just leave it at that. And that's what it is. If you don't want to see the yarn, that's perfectly fine. I'll just come back to you when I've got more, you know, more done on the cross stitch. But it will be at least a month. I won't be able to be there until after I get the blanket, the pink and purple blanket done. The other two aren't due until the April 20th, so I've got more leisurely time to get that done. And since with the other blanket that's due at the end of May, I can be a little bit more relaxed in how I approach that as well. So all good stuff, lovely stuff, but time consuming. Anyway, oh, this is the blanket. It's the Bernat, so that little blue one. And that's all. That's all I wanted to say. And just let me know what you want me to do, and we shall go on from there, because I don't want to show you things that you don't want to see. So there's no point. Right? And it's a blessing to be able to do all these yarn crafts, but my true love at the moment is my cross stitch. But that's a selfish pleasure, because this is just for my, well, it's for my, the Tiki Beach is for my husband, and the Santa is for myself, because I just love the pattern, and I'm doing it with my friend Lindsay. But it just has to take, it just has, I don't have that much. What time I have has to be divided at the moment. And then I've got, anyway, it's a blessing, but on the other side of it, and my wrist is hurting. It's because knitting with these massive needles and the thicker yarn is killing my hands. But I'll just keep plodding along. That's 2 days worth, and so I should have it done by the time April 20th arrives, right? And I can always just bind it off and say it's a square instead of a rectangle like I intended. But yeah, it's got lovely things, and it's a beautiful clear sky, blue sky here, frosty, but it's beautiful. It's always a blessing to have sunlight, especially in the winter time. We've had a lot more sunlight this winter than we did last, which is a major blessing, but it does make for frosty mornings. But that's beautiful too, because you got the sparkle of the frost, the sunlight hitting the frost. It just makes it beautiful. I'm definitely not stitching. I haven't stitched at all on Serenity Lane. It's going to be a major pick, but that's going to be off the plate for a while. I was going through the patterns I have. There's so many beautiful patterns. I've got 10 more patterns already on my Kindle waiting for me to stitch. So I just want to get these cross stitches done so I can start playing with my other ones. Thank you so much for all your wonderful messages. I really appreciate them. And I know YouTubers say that, but they do. They're heartwarming and make you teary-eyed with excitement and sweetness. And you have a wonderful, wonderful day, a beautiful weekend, and I shall see you when you are back or when I have some cross stitch progress. Take care.